Hello, hello everyone. Good evening, everyone. I am Mayank Arora. I am the campus ambassador at Spark Air ambassador at Reskill. आज हम यहाँ पे हैं 7 o'clock हो चुके हैं एंड वी आर हेयर फॉर द ट्रेनिंग सेशन फॉर आवर हैकेथॉन हैक विद एआर। सबको हैकेथॉन के बारे में तो पता ही होगा। जो फर्स्ट प्राइज होगा हमारा $300 होगा, जो सेकंड प्राइज होगा वो $200 होगा एंड जो थर्ड प्राइज होगा वो $100 होगा। And each participants will get a bag and certificate directly from Facebook Spark Labs X Reskill. So today we have Kshitij Sani sir with us. He is the associate developer at Reskill to train you all about the Spark Air platform, how the Instagram and Facebook effects are created, so that you can learn from them and submit your effects, publish your effects on Instagram and Facebook, and grab 600 USD cash prizes and the goodies, a bag and certificates from us. Over to you, Sani sir.
Hello everyone, I am Kshitij and I am an associate developer here at Reskill. And today we are going to start with SparkAir. We will see how SparkAir Studio works. We will be proceeding further with the SparkAir Studio. And so now I will be sharing my screen and we will be talking about Spark AR and like this AR Studio, how to create our own effects. So let us start with that. Let me share my screen. Tab and AR. So I hope now my screen is visible to all of you. Okay, I think now I am audible. I was muted. So let us see what Google says about SparkAR and then let us see our perspective with respect to it. So let me begin once again. So AR, let us start with AR. What AR is? AR is an interactive experience of real world environment where objects that reside in the real world are enhanced by computer generated information. So this is what Google says about augmented reality. Now let us relate augmented reality to the things around us and let us see how the augmented reality is being used around us. So first of all, I would like to ask you all a question. How many of you know about Snapchat or Instagram filters and how many of you have used it? If you have used them, please let me know in the comment section. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Recap master, you have like said yes. I think we all of us have. Yeah, all of us have used them. All of us are aware about them. So all the things that we are using on Snapchat or Instagram, the filters that we are using there, these are all augmented reality effects. They are all augmented reality. So after explaining the things in a manner that we have used it and like we are using them, we are clear about AR thing, what AR actually is, how AR is being used in the industry, how AR is being occupied. Now let us see what AR is and what Spark AR is, how Spark AR is supporting AR technology, and how are we proceeding further with it. So first of all, let us see what SparkAR is. So let me go to SparkAR and let me search SparkAR. Instead of AR, let me search SparkAR over here. And we will go to the sparkar.facebook.com, which is a website for SparkAR. So we can see like there are multiple effects available. These are some of the effects that we see over Snapchat, over Instagram, or some other effects. We can see there are multiple of effects available. So sparkyar provide us with a studio where we are creating our own effects, and the studio is available for our mobile and desktop, matlab, for the Windows and Mac based devices, and the effects that we create with the Sparkia Studio are available on our mobile device. So to work with Sparkia Studio, you will require either a Windows or a Mac based devices, and further we will be using these created effects on our mobile based devices. So this is something that we need to sum up about Sparkia. Okay, so I think now all of you are clear about Spark AR, what AR is, and other things related to AR. If you still have any queries, you can ask in the comment section, and if I will answer them. Also, even if you face any queries after the session or anytime afterwards, what you can do, you can connect with me on my LinkedIn. I will share my LinkedIn profile in the chat section, and we can connect anytime. We will surely discuss great things about the AR technologies, and let us have a great conversation even after the session. So, proceeding further, now what we will do, we will see some of the trends related to AR. We will see some of the other things, how to download Spark AR, how to proceed further with Spark AR. Yeah, I will tell you, Anjali, how to download Spark AR. We will be seeing that, and let us proceed further. Before like proceeding further and downloading SparkAR and using SparkAR, let us see some of the trends associated with SparkAR. Okay, so I will be opening trends related to SparkAR, and these are some of the augmented reality trends and what can we expect from AR. Okay, so coming to the statistics and numbers first. uh, as the numbers are mentioned, at the end of 2022, there were estimated 598 million AR active devices, which is a huge number of AR ready devices. And it is projected to increase to 1.73 billion by 2024. And you can do the calculation, like an increase from 598 million to 1.73 billion. It is a huge increase in itself in just a span of 3 years. Okay, so we can say that the AR industry is booming by a growth rate of 300%. And if industry is growing by a rate of 300%, we can definitely say that it is going to be very useful in the near future. Okay, so this is what we will be using. That is why we are studying the AR, and that is why it is the best time to start learning Spark AR, the AR technologies, and proceed further with the AR. Because if you learn it, so you will be the first one of the generation to proceed further with Spark AR and get something out of the Spark AR. So let us see some of the applications. One of the major application that you all have mentioned earlier in the stream itself, that you are all familiar with Snapchat and Instagram. So we will be looking on some of the other applications as well. So one of the most trending things these days is that you all might have heard that Facebook has renamed its parent company to Meta, and Meta is something that is focusing on the concept of metaverse, where we are just developing some of the metaverses and some of the augmented worlds, and we will be developing some of the augmented worlds, the metaverse. And all these things will be visible with the help of the smart glasses. So smart glasses are one of the greatest application of the AR. Okay, and further, let us see some of the other examples. I hope many of you have watched the Avatar movie, and in the Avatar movie, the animation, the things that we were seeing were all the part of some of the AR technologies that were being used. Even the TV series like the Green Planet, which will be hosted by BBC in 2022, is a AR experience by like AR experience, and it will give us a complete different perspective of how we see. Okay, and like for the goodies question and for the submission question, we will also take them, we will take them in the end. So please be with us throughout the session so you get to know about the complete goodie process and the registration process, how to submit it, and what are the unique IDs and the links. So we will tell you at the end of the session. So please be with us and ask the questions which are being taught to you. So if you have any queries till now, you can ask them, you feel free to ask them. And if you are like asking about the goodies or the submission process, so we will tell you at the end of the session. And even if at the end of the session, after the session you face any queries, you can either connect with Mayank, who is your campus ambassador, or you can connect with me via LinkedIn, which I have also previously mentioned. Okay, so let us proceed further with the AR trends and the AR applications. So, in even in education, the AR is being used very frequently. Yeah, as the like education was affected by COVID-19 pandemic, so the AR education increased. We can see there are some of the music teachers who are teaching via AR technologies. There are some of the other things. There are some of the medical students who are being taught with AR. There are medical operations that are handled with the AR technology because they are able to visualize the things much better rather than in a 2D X-ray, because they are able to visualize them in front of their eye. And they are, so we are very clear with the thing that is happening in front of us. So education is also one of the greatest thing that is affected by AR. Theme park rides are also designed with the help of AR, and you can even watch the video how like these ride works and how they are designed. And the lidar, which is a technology developed by Apple in its phones and in its like iPads. So the technology is also based out of AR. So you can see there are multiple things associated with the AR, and you can proceed further with AR in a very interactive and a very like you can see a different approach. You can see something, you can visualize something, and you can just design them in front of your eye. So AR will help us to make our dream come true. So that can be a thing that AR can support us with. Now let us proceed further with SparkAR and see how to download SparkAR and how to proceed further with SparkAR. So let me share my screen once again. I hope all of you are able to see it. So what you will do, you will just go to the Google and you will write SparkAir download, and SparkAir download link will appear in front of you. You all need to go to the link. I am sharing the link in the comment section as well. You need to go to the link and click on download button so that you can download the SparkAir Studio. And this is how we download the SparkAir Studio, and we begin with the AR thing. Okay, Nikhil Kumar, what is Nikhil Kumar has a question like, what is the difference between AR and VR? So that is an interesting topic, Nikhil. We will surely cover that in some of our future session. But as we have a time constraint today, and today's topic is dedicated toward AR, so let us focus on AR and let us cover the AR versus VR topic in like somewhat later. And or we can discuss it over LinkedIn chat, so you can connect with me anytime. So you can open the SparkAR download SparkAR Studio download link, and you can download the studio. And after downloading, you need to install it. But bear this in mind that our SparkAir Studio has some of the system requirements. So you will require some of the minimum requirements in your system to proceed further with the SparkAir Studio. And I will be showing you like what are the system requirements associated with the SparkAir Studio as well. So let me share the screen once again. And so these are like the minimum requirements that are associated with the SparkAir Studio. So you will require a Windows 10 or Mac OS 14, 10.14 plus for as your operating system. a minimum of 4 GB RAM, and CPU or CPU, if it is Apple, or GPU. That will depend on monitor resolution. So this is the requirement for the latest version of the SparkAI Studio. And if you are looking for some of the older version, you can just scroll down and see what are the requirements for some of the older version of the SparkAI Studio. I am sharing the minimum requirement link in the chat section also, so you can just go through it and verify if your system is able to proceed further with SparkAI. And now let us see how we are proceeding, how we are working, and how to proceed further with Spark AR Studio. So I will open the Spark AR Studio, and I request all of you to open the Spark AR Studio. So let us take a question from Rohan. He has a question that Snapchat and Instagram also use Sparkia to create their filters, or they have a different personalized software. Okay, so let me answer this question. Sparkia is a tool which is developed by Facebook, and Facebook and Instagram are using the tool for creating their filters. Facebook and Instagram are using the tools, and after creation of our effects, we will be able to publish our filters and use them over Instagram and Facebook. For Snapchat, they are using some of the different tools, as this tool is developed by Facebook. So these are currently supporting the Facebook based tools only. But further, if Facebook prefers, they can update it for some other tools like for Snapchat and for other platforms as well. Tripti, if you have any questions after the session, you can connect with me via LinkedIn, or if you are in the session itself, you can ask the questions over the chat section. I think that will be fine. Okay, I have already shared my LinkedIn profile with you. If you are not already familiar with it, I will share it once again for your. Okay, so let me open Sparkia Studio, and I think all of you have also downloaded it. Those who have downloaded the Sparkia Studio, let me know in the comment section if you have downloaded the Sparkia Studio. Okay, so do let me know if you have downloaded the Sparkia Studio, and I am opening my Sparkia Studio, and let us see how we are working with the Sparkia Studio now. So I have shared my wall screen, and this is how your Sparkia Studio will look once you have opened it. No, Harsh, Android does not run on the Sparkia. I think most of you have downloaded the Sparkia Studio, so we can start further and see how Sparkia Studio is working now. So first of all, there are multiple things associated. There are various templates, and as we are very beginner, so we will start with the sharing experience, which is the middle one. So I will click on the sharing experience after opening the Sparkia Studio. So like sharing experience, and a new window will pop up in front of you to develop a sharing experience. Uh, Keshav, the studio cannot run on Android. The studio is designed for Windows and Mac OS devices only, as I previously mentioned. And this is how the Sparkia Studio will look once you open it. So if you have opened it, do let me know in the comment section by typing open. Okay, so one of you have opened. And let us see, let us wait for 1 minute for all of you to open, and then we will proceed. Okay, now most of you have opened the studio, and now what we see something like a phone in between our screen and something being projected out of it. And this is how the Spark studio is looking. So the central area where my mouse is currently hovering is the workspace. And this is where we will be creating our effect, where we will be editing everything. Okay. And the area on the top right of the workspace where the mouse is currently hovering is the preview area. And this is how our effect will be previewed on our live devices. And here we can see how our effect is working. On the left of the working area is a scene panel, and everything that we will be adding in our studio will be visible in the scene panel. Below the scene panel is the asset panel, and all the assets will be visible here. We will be learning more about assets when we proceed further with it. And on the right side there is a properties tab. These are the major sections that are available in the Spark studio. Okay, so I think all of you are now familiar with Spark Studio, and now let us see how to proceed further. So before proceeding further, we will adjust our viewpoint to like how we have like adjusted it, and we will make it much easy for you us to view it and to edit it. So let me proceed with the first shortcut key. So Control and Alt. These two keys are the shortcut key for zooming in and zooming out. So you will press Control and Alt key together on your system, and you will click the left mouse button and drag your mouse from top to bottom, and you can see the screen is zooming in. So you can zoom in and zoom out according to how much you want to zoom in or how much you want to zoom out. So this is how we zoom in and zoom out. So Control plus Alt for zoom. I have mentioned it in the comment section. Control plus Alt for zooming. Now to the second shortcut, I will press the Control alone. I will not press the Alt this time, and I can use my mouse to rotate it. So for rotation, I we can use Control key. So this is how the rotation thing works. Control keys for rotation. And these are the two major shortcut keys that we will be using whenever we are creating our effect to adjust our viewpoint. Now let me do something. Let us decide what we want to do, and let us do that. What we want to do, I want to add a Reskill Sparkyard logo. Now the question arises, where do I want to add? So I want to add a Reskill Sparkyard logo in the lower right corner. I want to add a Reskill Sparkyard logo here. So to add a logo, we cannot directly add a logo. So we will be using some of the plane, and after inserting a plane, I will be inserting the picture on top of the plane. So let us see how to do that, and let us see that in action. So in the scene below the scene panel, there is an option to add an object. I will go to add object. I will click on plane, and I will click insert button. So when I add a plane, some of the black and white square boxes will appear in front of our screen, and they will be hiding the face. As you can see, like they are hiding the face. So this has appeared in the center of the window. Now I do not want it to be in the center, and I do not want it to be some of the black and white boxes, and I do not want it to be square. These are the three things that we want to change. So let us proceed with them one by one and see how this will work. So I will keep the plane selected. When the plane is selected, it will appear as blue in the scene panel as the plane is appearing now. And I will go to the properties section on the right. In the properties section, there is a material section available, and in front of the material section, there is a plus button. So I will click the plus button, and we can see a new material 0 is associated with it, and the box generates color to gray. This is something what has changed in front of us. And but the plane is gray and we do not want it to be gray. So I will do, I will go to the asset section. Asset section is just below the scene panel, and there is a material zero available here. I will select the material zero now, and properties for material zero will be popped up. And there are multiple properties and you can set them according to you. For example, if you want to set the color, so you can proceed, you can open the color menu and you can select any color. For example, black, or for example, white, or for example, like orange or blue, or any color you want. So let us select the green color and click OK. So this is how the box has changed its color to for like add this thing. Okay. So this is how we change the color. Now let us see further, and let us instead of changing the color, let us add an image. So below the color there is an option for texture, and in front of texture it is asking me to choose a file. So I will click choose file button, and I can choose any file. For example, I am using the Reskill Spark logo, and the Reskill Spark logo has appeared in front of me. But the logo is a bit square in shape and I do not want it to be square. I want it to be somewhat rectangular. So I can also change its like size and position. So to change the size and position, I will select the plane once again from the scene panel, and when I select the plane, these coordinates will be appearing. And you need to remember that these coordinates are triangular coordinates. Like on the end of the coordinates, there is a triangular arrow, and we can use these arrows to reposition it. Like I can move it up down using the up arrow. I can move it left or right using the left right arrow. So this is how we are repositioning it. But to resize it, what we will do, I will go on the center. On center top, the first option is selected. I will select the third option, and we can see that triangle have changed its shape to square. By using these squares we can just resize it. So I am resizing it now, and I want to make it bit lengthier. So this is how I think the perfect Reskill Spark AR logo looks like. So I can go back to the position which is the first option, and I can reposition it on my screen, and see if it is visible in the section. If it is visible here, the logo is visible here, as we can see the color difference and we can see it in the preview. So that is how we like add something, and we can see like these things we can add the thing. Iron plane option is not present on your sidebar. It will be present. It is not present because first of all you need to click the add object and you need to click the plane. So then and click the insert button. So that is how the plane will be added. And what for now what you can do, you can just like watch the session. You can see how the things are happening, what we can do with the studio. And after the session is over, you can just review and rewatch the recording, and see how the things are happening and what you can do with the studio. And you can just pause and play the video as per your speed, and you can proceed further and again with it. Okay. So let us do these things further. After you are watching recording, if you get any queries, you can like ping me anytime or via LinkedIn. Okay, so Aryan, that is what you can do. Tripti if is asking, will this video, will we get this video by clicking the same link? So yes, Tripti, you will get the video by clicking the same link. But I need to mention one thing. After the live is over, the video will be available after 2 hours, as it will take some of the time from YouTube to process. So you can visit the video anytime by clicking on the same link. Okay, so you can review it anytime later as well. So let us proceed further, and let us do some other things in the session as well. And now what we will be doing, We have added a logo, we have added an image, and we have resized it, repositioned it. Now let us add something such as a 3D object. For example, I want to add a car. So this is a random thought in my mind, and I want to add a car in the stream, and I want to add a car in my effect. So we cannot like add just the image of the car and we can see it as a 3D model. What we want is a 3D model instead of a single image. So how to add a 3D model of a car? Or suppose you want a tree, you want to like let us create a funny effect. Let me make the logo on the top so that it is clearly visible. So I am moving the logo here on the top, and it is now clearly visible in the previous section. And I want a tree to grow on top of his head. Okay, so that is something funny that we want to achieve in the session. So first of all, we need to add a 3D model of the tree, and then we need to map it with the face movement and see how the tree will be moving when the head is moving. So to add a 3D model, we will go to the asset section, and on the left of the asset section there is a asset library available. I will click on the asset library, and a AR library will be opened. I think you might not be able to see the AR library, so I will share my whole screen once again. So this is how the AR library will be opening. I will just open it once again for you. You will click on the asset library on the left of the assets panel. I will click on asset library, and a new AR library will be popped up in front of you. Now in the search panel, you can search for tree, or you can search for any object that you want, and you can see there are various 3D objects available for tree. You can click the view all button to see multiple objects, and you can see which tree you want to import in your model. Suppose I want to import this tree, I want to import this pine tree. So I will open the pine tree, and there is the option of import free. So this is also one thing that we need to keep in mind, that all the things that are available inside the Spark Studio are available free of cost, and there are no in-app purchases or any additional cost associated. So you can use anything very like freely. So I will click the import free button, and if you are using your Spark Studio for the first time, it will ask you to log in, and after you log in, it will show you a done button when the tree is downloaded. I will click the done button, and I will close the Spark Studio library. Okay, so this is how you are like proceeding with the Spark like how we are downloading something and how we are downloading a 3D model. So now 3D model is downloaded, but even if the 3D model after downloading, it is not visible on my screen, because the 3D model, the pine tree, is in the asset section, and for something to be visible on the screen, it need to be present in the section for the scene panel. So I will select the asset, I will drag and drop it between focal distance and ambient light. I will like position it here between the focal distance and ambient light, and I will drop it. So a very big tree has appeared in front of us, and we do not want to import a very big tree like on in front of us. So what we will do, we will just resize it. We will just make it somewhat smaller. So to make it smaller, we can either use the third option from here, and we can resize it, but that will take a very huge amount of time. So what I will do, I will keep the tree selected by clicking here in the scene panel. It will appear blue in color, and I will go to the properties section, and in the properties section there is the option to scale it. So I will scale it down. Here 1 represents 100%, and we can scale it accordingly. I want it to be 5% of its size, so I will scale it to 0.05. Okay, I have scaled it to 5 instead of 0.05. And now we can see a small tree is visible in front of us. So this is how we can scale it, and we can scale it smaller or we can scale it larger. Now let us reposition it. As I earlier mentioned, I want to reposition it on top of his head. So it is very difficult to reposition it on the top of the head when the head is continuously moving. So for like mapping it on top of head, there is a pause button available on side of the scene panel, and I can use the pause button to pause the video so that it is easy for us to like map it. So I have now paused the video, and you can see the video is paused. I will select the pine tree once again, and I can reposition it. Suppose here I want to reposition it, so I can reposition it very easily. And now you can see there is a pine tree which is planted on top of the head. But now there is a catch. If I play the video once again, you can see the tree is just statically placed. It is not dynamic with the head movement, and it is not moving as we wished it to be. So now let us add something dynamic. So till now what we have learned how to add an image, how to add a 3D model, and how to create a basic SparkR dynamic effect, static effect. So now we have created a static effect. Okay. Now let us proceed further and create some of the dynamic effect as well. And now let me show you how to create a dynamic effect. So I will go back to my SparkR Studio. I will go back to the add object section under the scene panel, and there is the option for face tracker, and I will insert the face tracker, and let us see the difference. As soon as I added a face tracker, these three different coordinates started appearing in front of me, which are moving as per the face movement. Okay, so you can see like the face is being tracked automatically, and we can even see in the properties section that the properties are set by the tracked face. But even after adding the face tracker, there the pine tree is static only, it is not dynamically moving. So I will just pause the video once again, and what I will do, the face tracker is a alone entity in itself. So I will now map the face tracker entity with the pine tree, and we will use it. So what we will be doing, I will click on the pine tree entity, and I will drag and drop it inside the face tracker entity. So when we click and drag and drop it inside the face tracker entity, it will be visible as a sub object, and you can see its coordinate has somewhat changed. So I can reposition it on the top of the head. Now the pine tree is planted on top of the head, and even if I click the play button, now you can see that the pine tree is moving in accordance with the head movement. It is moving left, right, as we want it to move. So it is moving in accordance with the head movement. You can reposition it if you want it to be somewhat lower or somewhat higher or somewhat on the left or right. You can just click on the pine tree and adjust its position. For example, I want it to be somewhat down, but as I mentioned earlier, it is very difficult to adjust a position with the moving thing. So I can just pause the video, and I can move it somewhat down so it is more clear, and I can play the video once again, and now you can see it is more properly aligned with the head. So you can use these things, you can attach something dynamic, and you can make some of the other changes like importing the images and other things. So this is a very basic effect that we have created in today's session. And the main aim of today's session was to get familiar with SparkAR, to see how we are working with SparkAR, and how to proceed further with SparkAR. So this was the main aim for today, and like we have achieved that aim to get the basics of the SparkAR. Further, if you are willing to learn more, if you are thinking of learning SparkAR technologies to a great depth, and you want to become a great developer with the SparkAR thing, you can connect with me, and I will share you some of the tutorials, some of the advanced level tutorials, and you can just watch them, and you can see how to create some of the great effects. Now, coming to the part how to publish your effect and how to submit your effect for the hackathon. So, what we will be doing, I will be going to the file option. I will there is an option to publish your effect. So I will click on publish, and when I click on publish effect, something like this will appear in front of us, and a new window will pop up, and I will click publish the effect, and I will not update the existing effect. If you have already created an existing effect, you can update it. And finally, I will press the upload button. Once you press the upload button, there will be some of the uploading that will be happening on your system, and we will be redirected to we will be redirected to a website. And let me show you what the website looks like. I will share the tab for it, and I will share screen. Spark Air Hub. So this is how you will be publishing your effect. You will be giving your effect a unique name, and you will tell if you want to publish it over all platforms or a specific platform. You will link your ID, Instagram ID, and Facebook ID, and you can select the categories and keywords that are optional. And further, you can click on the submit button. After you click on your submit button, as it is mentioned earlier in under, the effect will be reviewed within 5 days, and you will get a effect link and effect ID. You can submit those effect link and effect ID in the thing in the Spark AR website that we are mentioning. So you can proceed further with that. Okay, so this is how you create your own effects, how you create your own filters. Further, if you have any queries, you can ask me. You can ask here in the comment section, or you can ask me via LinkedIn. So Priyanshu has some of the queries. What about filters, the color changing type? So Priyanshu, as I mentioned, today's session was just aimed to get you familiar with the Sparkcast Studio, and for if you want to develop some of the great effects, or you want to develop some of the color changing type or other things, you can connect with me, and I will share you the tutorials link, so you can get familiar with some of the Sparkcast technologies, and you can start developing. Okay. Uh, Tree is in the front of our head. How to place it at the back? So GPS there that will take a huge amount of time. So I will share you the tutorials as I mentioned. Now further, I would like to invite Mayank to make some of the announcements related to the hackathon, how to proceed further with the hackathon, and share the link for the hackathon as well.
So hello everyone again. So I have shared the link in the comments bit.ly/hackwithAR. We have opened the submissions for the hackathon. There are four themes for the hackathon: New Year, Christmas, sitcoms, and one more. Uh, you see, and open innovation. You can go for any theme and make your submissions. Like Sir said, I will share more tutorials, more advanced tutorial with you to make your effects, and give your best and share and grab the all the goodies, bags, and certificates. And I want one of you to grab the cash prizes, the 600 US dollar. So any doubts and queries till now you want to ask, please in the comments you can ask. And I would like to thank Shiti sir for amazing session, giving your precious knowledge to us for this in the session about the augmented reality. So you all can proceed with the augmented reality, make achieve great things in augmented reality. For any queries, any details, you can ping me personally after the session too, and I will guide you in submitting your effects.
Thank you, Mayank, for a
Ideas.
wonderful session, and thank you everyone for being in the session. Okay, and Kunal, there is a question from
Yes,
your
I
end. How
can.
to get the tutorials link? So you can just ping me, and Mayank, you can you
Sir,
share the link in the private chat so I can share it with everyone.
yes, sir. Let me share in the private chat.
Yeah.
You can also share the tutorials with me, and I will share with all of my participants of the Happy
Okay.
AR. Sir, I have shared you with you. You can share in the comment section.
So I have also shared the hackathon link in the comment section. You can go to the link and you can register yourself for the hackathon.
We have opened submissions as we said. After the session, submissions will open. If you have any error, if you have any queries, you can guidance, you can contact me. Sir, should I give my LinkedIn or everyone? Can I give my contact?
You can share your contact number, and so if they will face any queries, they can connect with you.
Yes, you can ping me personally anytime. Some people last submission for the submission of project is 4 December.
Ankit, for the swags, what you need to do, if you are in the top three participants, you will receive the cash prizes. And if you are a participant only, you will receive the goodies from the Sparkia, and you will have to submit your address while you are submitting your effect. So be sure to submit your effect with a unique ID, as the unique ID effects will be considered on.
Amit has asked, can you please explain the idea submission section part? Yes, sir have explained all the publishing part, and for the submission part, when your effect gets successfully published, you get a visible screen on the that your effect has published, and from you can contact me personally, and I will tell you from where to get the effect ID and the effect link which you need to post in the hackathon page. Any other queries you can ask? I have shared my contact in openly in the private in the chat section. Also, I can give you my link in so that you can contact me there. Sir, please share my link. You can share my LinkedIn in the chat section. I have shared you in the private chat. So thanks all. Thank you Reskill. Thank you Facebook Spark Labs. Thank you Shridit sir for the amazing session. So we are here. We can wind up here.